Hi guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel here at the Hunter Collective. Today we've got Stuart in, and Stuart's, we just showed him a photograph because he's very open to suggestion in terms of what he wants. He does like his hair long, but like I said to Stuart, there's long and there's the right long. Right? That will make sense as the video goes on. But essentially what he's got now, he's got a very drastic undercut, as you can see. But the good thing is, it's gone high, but it's got a lot of length here, so it's perfect. I can kind of, there's an idea that I've got that we've discussed that I think will really work well. So what we're looking to do today is try and maintain a bit of length. I'm going to probably take off maybe about that, but there's still going to be a lot of length through the haircut. But it's all about where the length is left. So I want to essentially do something a bit like a bit of a Pompadour rest, but loads of looseness, loads of movement through the top, but then blending it right down to we're happy with the zero, right? Yeah. So quite low down to a bit of a low fade basically. It's all about keeping weight in the corners, doing a very shallow blend. So shallow fade, whichever word you want to use. So essentially keeping it really low around here, but blending into quite a lot of weight and seeing quite a strong weight line through it. So it'll still be blended, but his hair colour is great for that, especially when you start to see scalp exposure, but you start to see the real contrast of his skin to then hair. But he's got a really cool colour, and there's a lot of length to play with as well. So I'll be using quite a good few blow drying techniques, and also we'll probably be razor cutting this as well to give that real height, which I want to show you about getting height. I'm just using a bit of water, we'll show you there's lift in there as well. So what we'll do, we'll give it a wash, condition, and then we'll talk about where we're going to start with our horseshoe and everything else. Alright, let's do it. Right, so that is all shampooed and conditioned now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the top to the back and sides. Now I'm sure you've seen the other videos, I tend to use the horseshoe section for this. But as I bring this back, especially with the beard, now I think the thing is as well with the beard, alters the face shape. So his beard coming out here makes his face look wider. So what I need to do, I need to take that into account when I'm doing the corners of the haircut. Because if I take this corners too short, with his beard being so wide here, it will automatically start to cave in here. So especially when you think about it, when you're looking at a client, if they've got a very big beard as well, take that into account too. So I'm looking at around the head here. Now I'm going to do my traditional horseshoe. I'm not going to drop it or raise it. I'm just going to do a traditional right round, drop it down the crown as always, and match it to the other side. Now as you can see, Liam, if you want to bring the camera around this way, that horseshoe is sitting pretty much symmetrical shape all the way through. Now that's what we're looking for. Again, it's not too high, as you can see from the side look. It's just right where the head starts to round. That's what we're looking for. And again, the mirror, it's just at the angle of where the head rounds off there as well. So as you can see, if I start cutting this in, I'm starting to create a little bit more weight through here, and that'll create that squareness. So what I'm going to start looking for now, even just finger drying it, I want to see how much this will come back, because this look that we're looking for today, I want it really big and big, like really loose, but I also want to connect into some sort of length here. So I want to leave, not obviously all this length, but maybe I want to try and keep maybe at least half of this length. So whilst you're drying it through, just quickly, you don't have to tell your client to do this, just do it for yourself. It's just find out which way you want to wear this back. So if he wants to wear it back or forward, say if he's doing a different style, let's just see how freely the hair moves at this length. And then that way you know at what point that starts to bend and where you can take that to the length you want to where it still starts to sit back. So I'm going to start with number 3. I want to try and keep the scalp exposure to a very minimum down the bottom. So no work on number 3. I just find it's, when I'm working down to try and keep a lot of length through here, I think working through the guards is quite nice. It's a bit more seamless in some ways. So I'll start with a 3, blend that in, work on a 2, and then put the baseline in for the 0. Now I want to try and keep length, so I don't want to go too high. So I'm just keeping it just above the occipital bone at the back. That's where his bone is, so just a little bit above there. I'm just working up into the hair a little bit, just to soften that. Up and off, just to soften that blend a little bit. And just take into account there will be a bit more hair coming off towards the corner, just because of the overhangs a little bit heavier on this side. So I've done my number 3, I'm going to blend this length into my number 3. So again, we're keeping quite a lot of weight through the corner here. And just working in very small sections down to my number 3 in length. Right, so that is all blended in from the 3. This is my final length that I'm going to work on here. So when looking in the mirror, Liam, if you come round here and just look over Stuart's shoulder, the reason I've left a lot more length here is you see it's almost on line with the beard. Whereas if I went a bit too short, it would still have that kind of, that angle on it. coming down to the beard where I want to keep a bit more in. Like Stuart really, he wants to keep his beard quite full, so I want to make sure that the haircut works alongside the look as well. Now I'm going to work on very low zero and blend it nicely and seamlessly into the beard as well. So starting just above the ear, so it gives me room to blend. Want it to keep it quite full. Blend it into this length here. And what I'm thinking of doing on this one as well would be quite nice, would be to really edge the hairline out, because it would give us such a good contrast into how shaped Stuart's beard is as well. A little bit different to what we normally do, where we tend to keep it quite natural. I think it'll look really nice on Stuart's look. Again, along with that big contrast, that really big beard, I think it looks cool like that. And then I'll match up the other side as well. But don't forget, when you're matching up the sides, because you want to shape the hairline, it's not symmetric around the temples. So it might look a lot higher on this side and the other side, but actually when you look at it from the overall look, it's actually the same height. If I turn his temples around there, like that, that's where his temple is there. And after the temple finishes there, so you can see there's quite a bit of a height contrast. So that all comes to play when you're doing a symmetrical fade as well. So don't try and take it the same height as this side. Use the mirror to try and match it up either side, because it will change the overall look. So you can see it's a little bit lower this side, but if you want to get that symmetry, it has to be done that way. But it will look the same once it's all faded in. And what I'll do, using the blade, is get a nice even line on the side. I'm just going to flick off with the mini clippers as well. It's almost like just tapering a zero, right? And that's why I don't want to put the harsh line with the minis, because it does go that little bit closer. I think these are like a 0.2 millimeter, I think, and I think the zero and that's like 0.5 or something. So there's a little bit of a difference. You won't notice it too much, but it's quite nice when you start edging and you get that real sharp contrast. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push down through the hair to get rid of any hair that may be stuck to his scalp. Make sure it's like it's not like I've left the hair, it's just stuck there. And then I'm going to start tapering off with the start off from the neck, because I want to leave the sides to the very last, because I'm going to start shaping the hairline and just tapering through the I'm just going to try and accentuate that in a nice sharp curve. Essentially I am cutting into the hairline, but it's almost just like the unwanted hair. So that's what's quite nice about this, is that you kind of strengthen the hairline, you're getting rid of any of them kind of scruffier hairs that can make it look a bit untidy as well. So really do take your time with this. Use the edge of the clipper and just kind of draw it on. This side is slightly bit higher to match it up. Now this edge will be really sharp once we start to fade it, as you'll see the blend will come around and keep that weight on these corners here. So half on here. Now remember, I want to try and keep this hairline nice and sharp, so I don't want to take a one past this point here. So I really want to show the edging off, blending into nothing. So half in, and just do roughly about 1 centimetre in length, and just remember to follow the blend around. So work in between, so just using that guard to the nice seamless blend. And then towards the back, just go a touch higher towards the back. Don't forget, there's a lot less room to blend here compared to the back. So try and keep it quite low, and as you get to just to the bottom of the ear, take it a bit higher. So maybe go to more like maybe ½ an inch. All right? Because there is a lot more length to blend through here. So this is where it starts to become a little bit more shallow after you get to that point there. So I'm being a little bit narrower through here, because again, I want to try and maintain the sharpness here. So as you can see, I'm using a lot more of a kind of shorter blend technique. I'm just trying to use the corner, and that is in between a 0 and a half, or 0.5. So now what I'm going to do, so that'll do for now. I'm going to start now on a 1.5, and then blend to 1, then I'll make the half guard in between, and then I'll finish on my 2. So 1.5. So a number 1 guard open, not a 1.5 guard, and I'm just dropping it down through the corner. So it's almost going to have like a bit of an arch to this, because I really want to maintain that sharpness through the corner there. So 1.5 again, keeping it quite low. When my 3 is here, I want my 2 to finish a little bit lower than the 3. So just flicking out with the 1.5. Then try and still follow that same dip around the ear. I'll move down to my 1. and just flick off along that line of the half. But this really starts to take away that line. And now I'm just working in between a 1 and a 1.5, just to work on any darker areas. We're getting a lot shallower now through here, and just dipping that down as we get to the temple. So open half guard, so it's a, would you say a 0.75? And just use it to get rid of that line. So again, short bursts, just working along the line and moving through the guard again until we get down to our closed guard. Just using the corner. I'm going different ways, just because the guard is quite small, so it can miss the hairs sometimes, but also I'm working on a small area. I don't want to use the whole of the blade because it's quite straight and clearly there's a curve, so it wouldn't have the same effect. So just work out to get the harsh lines out first, just make life easy for yourself. Again, like I said, I'm just working down through the guard until it's closed. Instead of dropping it down on my number 2, I'm going to work straight up and off into the number 3. So again, working on the whole idea that there's more hair at the back, there's a larger surface area to cover. I'm going to work this as though I was just doing a regular 2 back and sides. And just work that into where my 3 was. I'm just going to work this nice and straight across. I'm not going to dip it, but it's nice and straight across. Now once I've got to just behind the ear, I'm going to close it into 2.5, and work that over again. You might not see a lot coming up, but it really will make a difference. One and a half guard, leave it back, and just work through the corner of your clipper and just work on the darker areas. Now if you're not seeing much come off, lower the lever a little bit, then keep that motion of up and off, so the rocking motion of the clipper. Using the number 1 up into the 1.5 guard. That is just nice, taking that line out. Again, working through the guard, just using the corner just to perfect. There we go, that's sitting nicely. This is just purely for perfecting. So from a distance you'll see a nice weight line, so what we talk about weight line, it's perfectly blended in. From a distance you see that real sharpness from the 0 to the length through the side. So while I've got the 1 guard on, I'm going to blend it into the beard now. So I'm going to start just where the shorter area is here, just about, I'm going to blend in from about 1 centimetre in length. So starting the 1.5, I'm going to take that off, and then the 1 again, a bit higher up, and taking it off, and on the, just that line there, with the 0.5 on, and then just close the guard and work up into the 0. As you can see, blends in nice, you maintain all that length, but you just get rid of that little sharp line through there. So what I'll do now is I connect the top in, and then I'll go over and refine everything at the very end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work from the front. Again, I want to maintain a lot of length through this fringe, to get a real nice looseness falling through. I want this to hang just into the blend, so I've got a nice bit of length here to let this into, so it'll look like an overhang when he wears it down like this. It'll still look like a lot messy and loads of length in it, but it won't hang over into the blend, and that's what I'm looking for. That's why, again, keeping that little bit of length through here allows me to sort of play around the size of how long we can still leave it as well. Because I know Stuart really wants to keep length in his hair, so just trying to keep all these things in mind as well. My first section is going to be just to catch that up, so just a little bit off the top, just to make it a bit fresher. I'm going to work quite a sharp angle and point up through. I'm going to go straight up and look for that guideline underneath, so that's the guide I'm looking for. Now it might look like I'm taking more off, but don't forget, you should always tend to get a bit shorter towards the crown, just for that kind of flow of shape. Just front of the crown now. Don't forget, we've got a lot of length here, so we don't have to worry too much about how short we go on the crown, but I don't want to cut it off. So angle it down slightly. There's my guide. There's the guide from the blend. Cut this corner off, but as you can see, my fingers are angled a lot more over. So again, as you can imagine, I'm going to create that length through there. So imagine it comes to a point. I'm cutting this to follow the shape of his head. This will take off that kind of curtains effect almost. That's what this will do. It'll make it predominantly longer through the middle and slightly shorter to the sides, which is what the look we're going for. Got this nice bunch straight across. Don't worry about all this hair coming through. It doesn't need to be here for this look, so don't be afraid to cut it. Just remember to keep the same angle, nice and straight, and match up to your point. Take that off. Now what you see, it sits quite heavy there. As you bring this back, it falls really nicely in. So that's what we're looking for. We've maintained all this length because we've over-directed all this length over here. So essentially what we've done is we've cut this corner. As you can see, when it falls down, it's quite heavy. We'll break that up in a minute, but that essentially falls nicely back. So what we've done, we cut all that length of the fringe by disconnecting it. But what you've got now is a much more balanced brush back haircut. Alright, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut the fringe a little bit, so it's a little bit too disconnected. So just use my judgment of how much it should take off. But as you can see, you start to have a really nice fall back. Now I'm going to do a few techniques now just to make that stand up a little bit as well. So you've got the option to wear it down and just let it fall naturally, or you've got the option to stand it up if you blow dries it as well. Just a little bit off. Didn't take too much off originally. You want that nice little bit of fall into the corner as well. So I'm not following the hairline round. I do want to leave this corner heavy because I want it to fall slightly over. You can still give that nice looseness of length through the top without it being too sort of structured. I'm just bringing this through here. Just cut. So now I'm going to wet the hair down. I'm going to use the texture razor. Now this is going to be purely to add movement and lift. Again, his hair's got that nice, his hair texture is quite sort of fine, there's a lot of it. So this is just perfect for this type of look because it just falls in loads of different places. But I want to accentuate that. And from just above halfway, I'm going to run the razor up. Now as you can see that hair's falling out of there. There's the hair coming off. That'll start to give movement and lift as well. And just before the fringe, I'm going to take a section as well. As you can see, that's starting to sit a little bit higher up on the head, even just a bit of water. It's not flattening down too much. And I'm going to slide in, same kind of angle, just on an angle now, just to break this up. So this will make this hair fall a bit more over to one side. So again, just trying to create options for him. Again, longer hair should allow options, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit, right to left. I'm going to work just above, again, halfway. I want this to fall slightly as well. So I'm just working that through. I'm going to work it up higher as we go as well. So that will start to sit a lot less flat. Now I'm going to dry it through, and I'm just going to work through the side and break that kind of bluntness up now. To blow dry, I'm going to use a bit of salt spray, so I really want to create that bit more texture through this haircut as well. So I want to emphasise what we've just done with the razor and the techniques that we've just created as well. So texture spray, working through the hair. My hairdryer with a nozzle, quite a small nozzle for this because I want to wear it. I want to kind of work through the corners as well, so it's a lot shorter. So I'm wearing like a smaller nozzle, and I'm going to use my round brush as well. Now a good way to break this up is dry that through first. Get your scissor, tilt his head towards you, like this. Pick it up in a section, angling it forward, bring it through, stand aside, and point cut through. Just at the very end, just to break up that real harshness. Because as it's easier because it's sectioned off, just break that up. And that won't sit as heavy. And just cut in to that section there. Move the fringe out of the way. Still want to keep that little bit of an overhang though, so I just want to take that kind of bluntness off. High speed, high heat, roll it around, wrap it around your brush, and work it around the head. So the height in there, and then finger dry it. And the last section, turn the hairdryer around. And now I'm going to blow dry this up, like that, a nice pump. And I'll blow dry it from left to right, and right to left. So this will fall completely natural. So you're trying to break up the little towels with there. So as you see, you've got a nice overhang there. But as he brings it back, it all sits and falls nicely. I'm just going to finger dry this through here. So the heat off, and keep your fingers and just manipulate this hair in itself. Blow dry it in loads of different ways. it falls in loads of different ways. Now what I'm going to do now is now it's all dried through, just going to double check there's no areas I need to go over scissor over comb, so I'm going to use my size 5 comb. I'm just going to go over any blend point that might need just going over. I'm just going to cut into this little bit here, just to break up that darker area. How's that look for you, mate?
Feels 6'2". I'm only 6'1".
6'1". See, I didn't blow dry too much height in there.
No, I like it. Man, I really like it.
But you see what I mean? You had that kind of real heaviness in the corners. Now you've got that kind of heaviness through.
How would you style it on a day-to-day basis?
However you like. So I'll do one look for you today. All right. So I use a little bit of your Regal Gentleman matte clay. Again, keeping it nice and matte. Your hair, because it's quite fine, it will fall quite flat quite easily. So you don't want to use anything like too heavy like a pomade or a paste. Unless you want to slick it right back. Yeah, exactly. If you look 6 foot, then try a pomade. All right. Now what we do, rub it through our hands and work it from the sides into the top. So what we want to do is start wearing it like this. So where that heaviness is on the sides, bring that back like that. Right. So if you're doing it yourself, you just do this. Right. Obviously I have to work around Stuart's head. I'm going to work it in to that blend first. Now whatever I've got left on the top, I don't want loads in the top because I want it to fall quite nice and quite free. You rub the rest in from the root to the tips. That's why I always say rub it 3 hands, because as you go through the fingers, it goes through the hair as well. So you could wear it like that if you want to. Loads of height and loads of movements. Or you wear it more floppy over to one side. Or you could let it just fall however you want it to and let the wind take it. All depends on how you want to. That's what I'm saying. I'd give you options because you've got a connection. But then I've let it fall in a way that it doesn't have to be sitting a certain way. But compared to when you came in, you had one option.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas now you've got a few. As you can see, you see the way that sits back, and then you've got that nice harsh fade down the bottom. And if you come back to here, Liam, the back, you see the way all that brings into here as well. So you've got a nice silhouette sitting through the back there as well. It's not protruding out, it's not sitting too heavy here. It's just falling nice into that blend as well. But as you can see, if you just take your head over a little bit towards the line, you've got all that movement sitting through here. So having that disconnected fringe just allows us to see flow, but then also it all connection through the back as well. Just a nice little look to kind of, you know, if you are in the process of growing your hair out, for example, it's a nice way of trying something a bit longer on top, but still giving that nice short fade down the sides. Happy?
Works. Brilliant.
Awesome, thank you, man.
Works.
To recap what we did for Stuart today is we wanted to go quite nice and tight around the edge because that's what Stuart really wanted, but we wanted to maintain as much length through the top as possible. But I wanted to give him options, so we opted for a zero on the very bottom. We didn't go down to foil, we just went to a zero minis. He still wanted to keep a little bit of fullness in the beard, so I think going to foil might have looked a little bit too harsh on that. So we kept it nice and low and we worked through the guards to create quite a lot of heavy, quite what we call a weight line. So it is blended, but from a distance you really see the harshness of the skin and then the length on top. And then we worked from a 3, put the baseline of a 0 and then worked through the guards to create that heaviness. So more than just fading down from a 3 into a 0, I put the 0 in first and then create that more harsher line that way. Through the top, I cut a little bit off the fringe, but that was the kind of main point I wanted to keep longer, and then just kind of kept it all the way through a little bit shorter towards the crown. We razor cut it after that, so we added a little bit of texture, a little bit of lift with the razor, a little bit of movement as well, just to kind of add a bit of, take a little bit of tiny bit of thickness, but more for that kind of natural flow, so when he doesn't blow dry it, it still falls nicely. And then we dried it with a bit of salt spray. I used it a little bit of height, kind of a little bit of height through the root, just so it wasn't sitting so flat, just for this look. And then we finished with a bit of the matte clay as well. That's it, man.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you. Anyone wants this? Low fade on the back and sides. Super low fade, back and sides. And then just a very, very top heavy, say, Pompadour look. And I think most guys will like this.
I have to buy some Regal Gentleman matte.
Yeah, grab some, mate. Yeah, exactly. There we go, mate. There we go.